This is a bit of a change of pace. Not just exhibiting video game footage on the channel for the first time, but within the pace of the game. This sort of review is going to be less focused on gameplay, given that Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games are more or less direct adaptations of the card game. The same could be said about the game's controls, as it seems the various titles use more or less the same game engine. Instead, I'm going to focus a bit more on the distinguishing characteristics of each game. I will be posting a video with some heavily commentated gameplay later, for those who might be interested. Oh, and before you ask, I will not be using the game music or sound effects. The music for this game sounds like this. It isn't bad per se, but it feels a lot closer to Bubble Bobble than Yu-Gi-Oh! Please forgive the GBA's limited graphics. This is being played on emulator, so some of the functionality is also removed, like the ability to link battle and card trade. Deck edit is how you change your deck, and that is pretty necessary given the cards you start out with. There is a password system too, which can unlock most cards which were printed at the time by using the ID number at the bottom of the card, with the exception of Cocoon of Evolution, which is yet another reason why Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth is horrible. The campaign starts with 5 characters: Tristan, Taya, Yugi, Joey, and Bakura, all of which you can challenge with the results being tallied on the campaign screen, but also on the record screen, which I guess is helpful for looking at your win-loss ratio. Last on the main menu is Calendar, which is set to January of 2001 at the beginning of the game. This means that the game takes place before the first sets were released in North America. Events on the calendar are, of course, duel-focused, with weekly duels and weekend duels. But the special event of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Magazine is actually pretty cool. Most likely a reference to the V-Jump magazines, the event comes with free cards, which is a good way to start talking about cards. In addition to your initial deck, you get packs for winning games. There is no currency system in the game, unlike later titles with duel points, so packs are awarded based on performance. In later titles, the password system is used to get a specific card, and generally at a relatively high price. But without the currency system, you can just type in the code of any card you want and receive one. This is probably game-breaking when it comes to difficulty, but the game is already easy. The main difficulty arises not from strategy, but from variance. It is very normal summon focus, and the monsters are quite weak, but the spells and traps are ridiculous. Raigeki and Mirror Force just win games, which really harkens back to the first era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Power cards win games, and as weird as it may seem, with only one normal summon per turn, Trap Hole was a power card, which helps to explain why it got on the game's first Forbidden and Limited list. Final evaluation time. Is the game worth recommending? There is nothing spectacular or inventive about the game, no story or increasing complexity. You have access to anything you want at the beginning of the game if desired. To me, the main draw is that simplified gameplay where you scarcely have to worry about traps, and almost every monster is a normal monster. If you are ever in the mood for the caveman era of Yu-Gi-Oh!, it is definitely a more convenient option than hunting down copies of Beautiful Headhuntress. Definitely a game that lives or dies based on your nostalgia.